But I can safely say right now that I could probably put my feet up for the next 20 minutes and just let these three in front of me. I tell you what, if they drug tested in this room, and I mean just drug tested the air, the male testosterone in this room, brother, I'm telling you, if you bottled it, it would be illegal. It's incredible. I can feel it. I can sense it. I'm not quite sure what the combined weight is around this table. I know one thing. If we all sat on it, it would collapse. And I probably wouldn't have to be involved, if you don't mind me saying so. I'm going to start introducing a trio now of big boys, cruisers, schmoozers and heavyweights. I've got Joe Long here, the Senny King. Joe, how are you?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
How much do you weigh, Joe?
Oh, now,
the truth, now.
I must be weighing about 18 stone, Steve.
Okay, I'm going to call that 19.4 because you're lying. No, listen, I'm the boss, man. I've got Chris Okoh there, former cruiserweight champion. In fact, Chris may have done it because he might not be much over his normal weight. Chris, how much are you weighing at the moment?
I've lost a bit of weight, Steve, actually.
Go on.
I'm, I think, about 14 stone 8 now,
okay.
which is about a stone above my fighting weight.
And I know he's telling the truth. And I've got Dillion Whyte here, unbeaten heavyweight. We've had in the studio before, we've had on the phone before, and it's always a delight and a pleasure to work with. Dillion, how much are you weighing right now, brother?
16.7.
16.7, and I'm going to put myself down. I'm not quite sure. I'll do that anonymously if I can.
19.5.
Hey, listen, easy, whatever. 38, 48, 42, 52. So I'll make it about just under 70 stone. Just under. That's a lot of weight to have around this table. As I say, luckily we're around and on it. Joe, thanks very much for coming in. Chris, thanks for coming in. Dillian, thanks for coming in. I'll start with you. Your boxing again, which will be bout number 7.
Yeah.
And that's at York Hall on the 7th, Saturday the 7th, against an experienced and one of those. I think it's probably Hungarian, but they're tough old boys. Those guys. You've been putting recently a couple of quicker wins. Has that been intentional, or have you just been catching people earlier?
Just be more relaxed and more experienced, and listening to my coach more and just doing what he says. He says instead of trying to put them away, go out there and box and it will come, and that's what's has happened in the last couple of fights. You know.
Now, part of your apprenticeship outside the ring over the last 18 months or 2 years has been you've been doing some fantastic sparring, and two of the guys that you've done a lot of sparring with, you told me on the show about 6 weeks ago, you've had both Derek Chisora and David Hayes had to say, look, I don't want to spar with you because I know the pair of you. I can't spar with one. I can't spar with both. So you've lost your best two sparring partners the last 2 months. Is one way to look at it.
It's like I said from before. The guys they both helped me. I was sparring with David from before, but turned pro, and I was sparring with Derek from long before I was sparring with David. So
sure.
We both get along. I get along well with both of them, and they're both good guys. Apart from the silliness that happened in Germany, they're both good guys. They're both good fighters. So it's best if I just stay out of it, let them train. It's not fair helping one, not helping the other, and it's not fair helping both of them.
Yeah, of course not.
You know what I mean?
So listen, in the future they might work with them again, or better still, they might work with you. There's two sides to it. Chris, let me bring you in. It's been. I'm going to use the word difficult, not because it's been hard or really difficult, but when you've got a talent like Dillian, I don't want to embarrass him. The guy with a lot of talent, a lot of power, and also keen to learn and desperate to move on. But at the same time, you're not stupid. You've got to put the reins on it. Has it been hard holding him back a little bit? Or having him, it's hard to say walk before he runs, because if he's hitting good guys on the chin and knocking them out, I suppose that's running. But you know what I mean. Has it been slightly difficult just pulling him back a little bit?
Dillian is very enthusiastic. He's training. He's determined. He's a hungry young fighter, and he wants to get on. He wants to make waves. Yeah. So, from that point of view, it has been difficult to kind of put the brakes on and do things gradually, particularly with the heavyweights, as you well know. Yeah. Okay, you take the wrong fight at the wrong time, one shot, they're big men. So
if they're not right.
Exactly, so what myself and Joe have been doing, we feel as though we're getting the balance right, whereby we're taking the right fights at the right time. I wouldn't say they're safe fights, but they're competitive. At the same time, bringing Dillian along slowly, when he needs to go.
Because he still needs those rounds, doesn't he? He still needs that. He needs the experience to catch up with his talent in some ways.
That's right.
Because he's kind of, his ability is kind of is an advance really. Of his actual skill set in some ways.
And obviously the last 2 bouts they've gone, around the piece.
Yeah.
And the last one, the most recent, was even quicker than the previous one.
But good finishes, not very, cuffing round the shoulder finishes. Proper finishes, and that's all you can do really.
That's right, and he as Dillian said, he took his time, he relaxed. Initially, the first couple of fights, he was forcing things.
Trying too hard. We talked about that, didn't we, before? His shoulders were just a bit tense,
That's right, but now, and then, literally, the last couple of bouts now, he's settled right down, and the knockouts have come, he's looked for the spot, and he's seen the shot, and it's thrown it.
This situation, Dillian, we'll come to you in a minute, Joe. This British heavyweight situation, I mean, it's a terrific scene at the moment. Not just with the 2 or 3 guys that are, say, a Tyson Fury and a David Price who are up there, getting a bit of exposure, and of course we've got the Derek Chisora and David Hayfing, but there's a lot of guys below that Dillian will have to go through, a brilliant test. The Sam Sexton style guys, the John McDonald style guys. These are heavyweights that have fought for a British title or a Commonwealth title. They're all there's about 8 or 9 heavyweights if you include David and Derek, maybe even 10 half decent names, Joe. In all fairness, it's not a bad time to be in charge of a heavyweight's career, if you don't mind me saying so.
No, definitely, Steve. I think there's a lot of depth there.
That's the word.
There's a lot of depth
at different levels.
At different levels, and there's a lot of interesting fights out there. And as Chris just said, I mirror what Chris said. We're building Dillian slowly, but in a little while, when we need to shout, we'll shout. And Dillian's the sort of individual and talent that's not going to be afraid to take certain fights. He's not going to sidestep people. He will take the fights
when they come up, when they come available, and when there's a reason for taking them as well.
Exactly.
He's no good having a great win now and then knowing that really you're still a year off or 18 months off. I mean, you know that you've sparred with an awful lot of the top fighters at the moment, haven't you? You've shared the ring with a lot of these guys, so you know what you've still got to do. Even all fighters think they can fight tomorrow and beat everybody tomorrow. If they didn't, then you're in the wrong business. I mean that nicely. That's the bottom line. But somewhere in your heart, in your head ahead, that was a bit clever the way someone did that and that type of thing, and you must have experienced that.
I'm constantly sparring with top level guys, so it's little things they do. Even simple things as the way they train, the way they throw their jab, the way they throw the right hand and stuff. You see and you spar them and it rubs off, and you think, okay. Every time I do this, he catch me with that. Every time I throw the hook to the body, I get catch with this. And just learning. You just think, okay, I get catch with that. All right, I'm gonna keep this up when I throw that. You know what I mean? But it's all good. Them guys, they're 10 miles ahead of me, and I'm doing 10 rounds with them, 8 rounds. Whatever, so it's all good for me, It
is all good for you. Joe, you've managed to keep him independent as well. Now, this is an interesting thing because, you fought on different TV channels.
Sure.
You fought under different promoters. It's not a secret anymore. He hasn't been a secret, really, since before he turned pro, if you don't mind me saying so.
Correct,
because of the win over Anthony Joshua as an amateur. So he was never really a secret. He was unknown, but they knew about this kid. That kid Dillian something or other, and 1,000 different spellings of your name, all incorrect, I hasten to add.
And the age as well.
And the age.
And the area.
What, you're about 37 now, aren't you?
And the area as well.
37 from Plumstead, So we don't mind a bit of mystery.
No.
We're not against a bit of mystery.
It's all good.
Don't get me wrong, we don't mind that. But you have managed, all jokes aside, and we are going to get to a serious question here, you have managed to keep him independent, and I'm assuming that you are getting a bit of pressure from different people, either TV channels or promoters associated with TV channels, to, if you want to think long term, they'll be telling you this, you've got to come inside.
Yeah, well, we've got a flexible promotional deal with Frank Maloney, and Frank's been very good. And at the moment, we aim to continue to work with Frank. However, if the TV dates aren't there to fulfil the schedule which we want to, move with, then we're able to work with other promoters, which is great, and I think, over the past year we've proved that concept there can work.
You have, and I think part of the reason why that has worked is that you have put him across the board, and he's getting a bit of a name, a bit of profile, and so the promoters can't say to you, listen, he's unknown. It's the old school. That's what Mickey Duff would have done years ago.
Yeah.
Or you know, Frank Maloney or Frank Warren or promoters worth their salt would do now because they want your services. So the first thing they tell you is unknown. Well, that's patently not true.
That's right. And
so you've got that one on them straight away.
And the difference is, Steve, you know, Dillian, not saying it because he's here, is him, Chris and I, we're serious about where we're going and what we want to do and achieve. Yeah. What you said earlier about, you know, all fighters, you know, believe in themselves, otherwise they're in the wrong game. Yeah. That is true. However, how many of them are deadly serious about the game?
That's different, yeah. And we know
it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, we know, again, talking as though Dillian's not here, we do know that one of the things he has got is he's got that determination, he's got that desire. At the moment, I mean, I'm not saying, you know, everyone's got it, well, not everyone. Yeah. In fact, most heavyweights don't have it. Most heavyweights are lazy so-and-sos, and you've got to constantly have your boot up their jack seat, as you know, Chris, because you've been around several, including David. I mean, David A. I mean, determined when he's determined, and dreadful when he's not determined. And I mean that nicely. That, you know, I'm a fan. So the down the line, Dillian. I mean, is there a chance that, because you've had 2 or 3 years of it now, and then the previous in the kickboxing, is there a chance down the line that you might think, you know what, I've trained so hard, I need a bit of a break. I mean, you know, because your entire life, you know, not many kids when they start with 6 or so fights are as focused, as determined, and as 100% as you are. So you giving him any time off? What are you doing for recreational time? Because I saw a bit of recognition come across Chris's face and just say, yeah.
Listen,
we want to give him time.
Yeah,
you know,
we want to ban him from the gym.
For me, training is way of life. It's not just I train because I fight, you know. And I'm in this game to take care of my family and make a better life for my family. You know, but when I do get time off, I spend time with my missus and my kids. You know, I just have a little bit of relaxed time and
so you can cut off.
Yeah, but it's normally lost about 3 or 4 days, maybe a week maximum, and then I'm phoning Joe up saying, when's the next fight? You know, Chris, when can we? But it's just, you know, it's this drive within me, you know. I just want to just learn. If I don't train for 3 days, then I think, oh, you know, I could have been practicing my jabbing, or I could have gone for a run or something. I sit down and I think, you know, I start thinking, am I putting weight on or whatever, you know what I mean?
Am I wasting away?
Yeah.
Am I getting fat?
Yeah,
I know that
you know, but I
the
think
vanity gene kicks in.
You know, it's not in the vanity gene. It's just, you know, I like Joe said, we know we want to go on. I know what I'm in this game for. He knows what he's in it for. Chris knows why he come back into boxing. Because after Chris retired, he didn't train or anything for a while, you know. And then boxing. He come back because of that drive within him, you know.
Now, Chris, I want to talk to you a little bit about working with him in the gym. You're working your way through different things. You're working on keeping him relaxed. Are you doing anything that's a bit odd, a bit different, like you know, yoga, ballet classes, swimming with your eyes closed? You know the kind of thing I mean. You know?
Sure.
Are there anything? Is there anything odd that you're doing that you can tell us?
No, that would be telling, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Stop stalking me at night, Chris.
Because people have fun. You know, there's always funny. You know, especially with heavyweights, you got to give them something different. You know, you got to.
I mean, generally speaking, you know, we're sticking to a rigid sort of regime. Okay. You know, working on technical stuff, working as improving Dillian as technically. You know, so and I think for me, and I think really for me, it's about each time he boxes, that the stage is at now, is bringing a new dimension to the table, as it were.
As long as he keeps learning.
Yeah.
Long as you see it something different.
Exactly, and also the audience or the fans, they see something that they can see some visible improvement, and the promoters as well can see some visible improvement. You know.
Now, Joe, you were filming that briefly. Then, have you documented Dillian's rise and Dillian's time? Have you managed to put stuff together?
Yeah, we've been filming a number of a number of days and different bits throughout the journey, you know, from back in the day when, you know, I first met Dillian when he was like 16, 17. Okay. And yes, we do stuff on YouTube and Twitter. You know, Dillian's got a Twitter account which is building by the day at Dillion Whyte. And you know, we put out different video blogs with Dillian and sort of follow him around. You know, we just done one last week in Belgium with Tyson Fury.
Oh, so. Yeah, because I was going to ask you about Tyson, because you went up and stayed up with Tyson, then you're up in the northwest. Yeah, you stayed up there, you know, with the traveller inside the travelling community. That was a great experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's great. I was out with him last week.
Belgium and Holland, wherever it was.
Yeah, you know, Tyson and his family, like I keep saying, they're great people. You know, his uncle is a superb guy, Peter Fury. You know, Tyson's. He's a good guy, you know what I mean? And they both got a lot of time and respect for me, and vice versa, you know, and they help me as much as I help them, you know.
Were you out there when this thing happened, when the police came with the guns, thinking he'd killed somebody and robbed somebody, got taken off to prison, got taken off to the police cell for a day or something?
We was not there,
that was Dillian, and he got away.
Yeah, they look similar. Yeah. So the way, what do you know what happened there? Because it's this mad story.
Basically, he just told me that there's some misidentification. There's driving to training or whatever, and police basically stopped them and thought there was someone that
killed someone in a robbery.
Yeah, and arrested them or whatever. And he said he was trying to tell them, listen, I'm a professional boxer, I'm just training. They was like, you know, we don't care, we take you to the station. But I don't know the full story, but that's what he told me anyway.
No, I know he was released, and he isn't an armed robber, and he certainly didn't kill anybody doing a robbery that he didn't do. So Dillian, you're out next week on the Saturday, and then after that, will you have the summer off, or not the summer off, but will you box again in September, or you think it's going to be something else?
Joe gave me he threw a little word in the bush there, but they said, do you mind fighting in August? And I said, if there's a fight in August, I'll take it, because, you know, my aim now is my personal goal is to get to 10-0, 12-0, because what I've noticed, it seems to be at that sort of stage in young fighters' career where things start really changing and start happening, that 10-0, 12-0. Yeah, so my aim is, you know, I've been boxing now for like 13 months, and this is going to be my 7th fight in 13 months, so, you know, we ain't messing about. We're just trying to just get as much experience and just get there as quick as we can, and just, you know.
Is the August show in this country, Joe?
Yeah, I got a phone call the other day from Spencer Fearon, you know, for the Hard Knock show.
That'd be great to fight in Spencer's show.
You know, he's always said that he's wanted Dillian. He's always, you know, spoke very well of Dillian. You know, we'd love to do it, because actually the last couple of shows what Dillian's fought on has been in Liverpool. Yeah. So it's nice to come back to London and do the whole London thing and bring the London people out.
That'd be nice.
It'd be good to work with Spencer as well, you know, because I've known Spencer for a long time. He's always saying, no, we need to get in the show. And for some unknown reason, it doesn't happen. But you know.
And Spencer's good at generating tickets and generating a little bit of a following. You've got yourself a bit of a following, haven't you? Your following grows.
Yeah, you know, I'm accessible to the fans. You know, they can ask me whatever they want.
I always talk about that.
They come down and train with me. You know, I spend time with them after the fights. If I sell 300 tickets, I make sure I see 300 people.
I've seen you from my stage after you fought. You don't leave until you've shaken and done a picture of everyone.
You know, it's this. The people spend. You know, some people buy £60 tickets, and then they spend petrol money or whatever and come down, you know, pay for babysitters. So
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, you know what I mean? To give them 5-10 minutes of your time, you know, it's just natural.
And you know something, and I tell this story all the time, and it might sound like I'm boring people, but when I was at big Ricky Hatton fights in Vegas with Mayweather and with Pacquiao, and you'd see, and there were 25 or 20,000 people there. Let's say I met 1,000 people for a picture or an autograph in a bar, in the sauna, in the steam, in the lift, you know, in a restaurant, at the fight. I am telling you, every single person had met Ricky, because Ricky had spent 7 years doing what you were doing. Shaking hands, posing for pictures, and devoting 2 or 3 hours after each fight. We did it once with Mick Costello. You know Mick Costello, this brilliant commentator for BBC 5 Live. We went out of a microphone, did a live 10 minutes, and we asked something like 30 people, random people, black guys, Asian women, fat white guys, a real mixture of Brits that are out there at the Mayweather
Was Joey
fight.
there? You said fat white guys.
No, Joe wasn't there, man. Easy, there's just no need for that. And we asked all of them, we said quite simply, have you ever met Ricky Hatton? And every single one of them, yeah, and then I'd say where, and they'd say, well, when he had this fight and this fight. It was incredible. So listen, you're building the same thing. Listen, boys, it's been an absolute delight having you in the show.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Joe Long, thanks for bringing him in. Chris Okoh, thanks for preparing him. Yeah. and getting him ready. And Dillian, once again, thanks for your time. It's about the 3rd time you've been in.
Yeah,
telling you, brother, you're doing well.
It's been a pleasure, Steve. You know, you've helped me a lot since the start of my career. I'm grateful.
Listen, I try and give everyone a plug, everyone a G up, and everyone a leg up, and kids that I like, I'll give a little bit more of a leg up to be honest with you. Anyway, listen, that's all right. It's my pleasure.